Hello and welcome to Aintree Angles, brought to you by oddschecker in association with William Hill. It's my great honour to be joined by Toby Loveridge. Andy Holding, there is a sad chair sat to our right-hand side. Andy currently stuck in traffic, but will hopefully be on the show later on and will obviously be with us for the next 2 days. Toby, Grand National meeting, we're here on the course. Are you looking forward to the whole meeting?
I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I've walked around the course this morning and seen some oddschecker branding around the place, and the place is absolutely gleaming. Grand National in 2 days. Couldn't be more excited, Steve.
Definitely. Right, we're going to crack on with the action. We're going to start off in the 145, the Manifesto and Novices Chase is a grade 1 over the intermediate trip. Currently, Toby, Impere Pass heads the market 2-1, won the Aintree hurdle here last season, bids to bounce back from a slightly below par effort at the Dublin Racing Festival last year. Django Bay next in the market, 11-4, Arkle winner, pulled it out of the fire at Cheltenham last time, and you've got Croke Park in there as well. Next best in the betting at 9-2, who's obviously missed the Cheltenham Festival to come here. Who'd you like?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Impere Pass has been beaten by quite a lot of these, but has got the form here on the track last year in the Aintree hurdle, the 3 mile hurdle, and probably looks the horse to beat. But having Django Bay in there is a really interesting one to see how that Cheltenham form works out. I have my question marks over that. Just the race fell apart and it sort of came back into his lap. The horse that I really like is Croke Park.
Yeah,
he's got form with quite a lot of these. Beat Impere Pass, second behind Ballyburn at DRF. Won 2 grade 1s, versatile in trip. Beat Hartwood. I think he looks a really juicy price at 9-2. That would be my bet.
Excellent. Yeah, I like Croke Park as well. I think the form of that Drimore is working out really well. Second that day was Hartwood. Hartwood then went on to then finish second in the Ryanair Chase after that. So really strong form from there. If you do like Croke Park, William Hill currently at the time of recording have a boost from 9-2 to 5-1 as well. And they are also on this race top price guarantee. Toby, William Hill as well, obviously have a few offers around the Aintree Festival as well.
Yes, their standard welcome offer at 10, bet 10 get 60 and free bets is incredibly enticing for the next couple of days. They do offer best odds guaranteed now, so they're incredibly competitive in the market. And obviously, as you say, the top price guarantee on that first race today, and they offer plenty throughout the week and will continue to do so, as well as extra boosts on winning lengths, etc., etc. So do keep an eye out on the William Hill app for those special offers.
Yep. Talking of distance bets, the next race is the 220. It is the Grade 1 Juvenile Hurdle. The race obviously changed complexion with Lalamba not being declared, Lady Vega Allen not being declared, and Hello Neighbour. So put your hands together. The impressive Fred Winter winner currently heads the market at 6-4 with William Hill at the time of recording. But they are boosting this to win by over 3 lengths. Is now 4-1 with William Hill. Toby, I was with him at Cheltenham. It was a really impressive performance. Fred Winter winners don't have the best record coming into this race, but it's not like you've got the 1, 2, 3 from the Triumph Hurdle coming in this year.
No, it looks a bit of a weaker affair than we thought we might get. Lalamba obviously goes on Saturday, which is very exciting. Excited to see him go again, particularly over that extended trip. But I think this Put Your Hands Together is probably way better than anything else in the field. But I just want to point out a couple of horses within here. Stablemate Naturally Nimble looks a sort of horse that might be laid out for a race like this. Was 4th at DRF behind Hello Neighbour, and I know times everything suggests that isn't good form, but I still think that Hello Neighbour is a decent bit of kit, and I do think this could be a reasonable horse. I don't say it'll win, but I do think it might run into the places. Another one that I do just want to pick out is what I think is probably the best of the English, actually, is Mambo number 5 that won the Adonis last time. Bought for a lot of money out of France and won that really gamely, the Adonis at Kempton. Flat track. Ground is my only concern. It hasn't been on ground like it will be today, drying, but I quite fancy that for a place at 14-1. So they'll be my 2 picks against the favourite.
Yeah, I really like Mambo number 5 as a horse going forward. I think he's going to go novice chasing next season. Big stamp of a horse. Yeah, I would slightly be in the camp with you, slightly concerned around, obviously, the drying ground here. They put plenty of water on, but it's already hot and it's 8:50 in the morning. It's going to be quick ground out there, even if they have watered extensively. We'll then move on to the 255. It is the Bowl, the Grade 1 over 3 miles. Grey Dawning, who decided to skip the Cheltenham Festival, is currently heading the market at 9-4. Spillans Tower, 11-4. Ahoy Senor, 6-1. The enigma that is Ahoy Senor. I'm going to kick us off. Ahoy Senor is probably my best bet of the whole festival. I absolutely love this horse. If you go back through his run at this meeting for the last 4 seasons, he won the Sefton here defied odds of 66-1 to win this race 4 years ago. Was impressive that day. Then won the Grade 1 novice chase over 3 mile, 1 furlong the year after. The last 2 years, he's finished second in this race. 2 years ago, was second behind Shiskin. Last year, second behind Jerry Colomb. There isn't a Shiskin or a Jerry Colomb in it this year. Obviously, falling in the Gold Cup last time as a prep run isn't ideal, but he actually did that 2 years ago, fell in the Gold Cup and came on and looked. I hate to see what price he actually went in running to beat Shiskin that day, but look, home and hose, just got collared late on by the late, great Shiskin, and yeah, around 6-1. I'd back him win only, because I do think it's boom or bust, and yeah, I absolutely love a hoist in your fierce, and I can't quite believe that it's as big as 6-1 at the time of recording.
I would point out his last 3 runs, pulled up, foul.
Were any of those at Aintree, though?
This is his place, so if there's anywhere he's going to win or get close, it will be here. So I really appreciate that shout. I think that's a really strong one. I'm going to side with Spillane Tower. Hopefully get a chance to speak with Jane later in the show, but Jane Mangan, who can hopefully give us an angle there. But I think this is a really good horse, and I think you can probably forgive that run last time at Kempton and the King George. It's a funny sort of race. Le Francais went well clear, and nothing else got into it, and finished a lowly 5th, beating multiple dozen of lengths there. But the form behind Factor File is looking really strong, and anything that's got Cheltenham winning championship race form behind it, I've got to fancy that. And I think at 3-1, Sea of Blue, I will admit, and it won't be that probably at the time this goes out, but I would really appreciate that at 3-1.
Yeah, I'd have a slight concern. The one time he came over to the UK, they blamed the travel, lost lots of weight in the King George. The ground, obviously, they've said that he needed soft ground. It's definitely not going to be soft ground up there. So, yeah, I mean, he did finish, beat Monty's Star at Punchestown last season in that Grade 1. I think it was good to soft there. So, yeah, we'll have to see how Spillane Tower goes. But I'm really keen on Hoysen-Ure. We'll then move on to the 3:30, arguably the highlight of the day. It's the William Hill Aintree Hurdle, Grade 1 over the intermediate trip. And the big clash, Constitution Hill against Lossiemouth. We finally get it. I've got my Lossiemouth tie on. I'm full on Team Lossiemouth, 4 from 4 over an intermediate trip, and was fantastic at the Cheltenham Festival. Are you Team Constitution Hill? Are you Team Lossiemouth, or are you looking elsewhere?
I will note that Constitution Hill is boosted from evens to 11-10 with William Hill at the moment. So if you are a fan there, then it's probably worth a bet at this point. I don't know yet, but if I'm going to have a bet, I'm probably going to have a forecast bet, and I'm probably going to leave your selection out of that forecast, unfortunately. Okay. Constitution Hill was absolutely travelling when he fell. Yes, there's lots of question marks about his jumping now. He's getting very brave, isn't he? And setting off outside the wings, which is never a good thing. Looks maybe even a chaser in the waiting. We'll see. However, I think Woodhoe is I know that you liked it at Cheltenham. I think she's a really improving mare, and rapidly improving as well. And I think if there's anything that's going to pick up the pieces, it will be her. And I think Constitution Hill goes and wins, unfortunately. And Woodhoe picks up the pieces and finishes 5 lengths second.
Yeah. Off her adjusted mark, she's only £8 to find with Lossiemouth on official ratings. Like, she's 7 from 7 over hurdles. He's so progressive. They were talking around supplements for the mare's hurdle, with Brighter Days Ahead obviously going to the champion hurdle. So they do think a lot of her. She's currently 15-2 with William Hill at the time of recording. But yeah, it's Lossiemouth for me. But it's just going to be a great clash, isn't it? It's going to be fascinating tactics-wise. I imagine Paul Townend is just going to be stalking Nico de Boinville, and we'll see if Constitution Hill is as good over 2.5 miles as what he is over 2.
I just hope he gives us fences enough respect.
Yeah.
Today. And I will say that Constitution Hill at the moment is boosted from 7-4 to 5-2 with William Hill to win by over 3 lengths.
Okay. I wouldn't be entertaining that, if I'm being honest. 2 years ago when he was at his pomp, it was then obviously kind of workmanlike to then beat Sharjah. So we shall then see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look who has finally arrived. Andy, what time do you call this?
Oh, no. What do they say? Was it like traditionally late or something like that? Or fashionably late. Fashionably late.
Fashionably late in the new oddschecker relay.
I know. Yeah, quick change and a quick dab onto the powder, and we're ready to go. Yeah.
So Toby and I have gone through for the 4 Grade 1s on the card so far. So we'll just quickly get your thoughts on the main races of the first 4 of the day.
Yeah, I just hope I'm not repeating any of your selections.
No.
Or not the concrete cases you've made already. Quite like Gidley Park in the first.
Yep.
I I think Django Bay sets a hot standard. That Arca win was very good on the time figures. His data was really good. It's the classic conundrum, is it? Can a horse take in a race at Cheltenham and replicate that form only 3 weeks after? Up against horses who are fresh and have been saved for Aintree. I've gone with Gidley Park because he beat Cornwall Potter in decisive fashion at Windsor. He just looked a different horse to the one we saw at Kempton when obviously he had that issue with his defibrillating heart, or regular heartbeat even. So I would say that he's probably the most likely danger, the way I see it. The fact that he is fresh and well. He stays 2.5 miles really well. The ground's a slight concern. I'd like a little bit easier ground, but I think he'll be racing on the best part of the ground, i.e. they've watered it and it's going to dry out through the day, so the first race should be fine. But yeah, I like his chance. I thought he was a nice each way, bet 11-2. The juvenile race, I'm a big fan of Put Your Hands Together. All his data from Cheltenham suggests that he would have gone very well in the Triumph. I've watched that race back several times now, and I don't live in a world where I don't see Put Your Hands Together winning this. He should beat the other horses that were in behind him that day, Wendrock and Mercia. Joseph's other horse ran behind Hello Neighbour. I don't think that form's quite good enough. Live Conti is an unknown quantity, but he's done nothing on the figures just of yet. And you look at Put Your Hands Together, the way he won at Cheltenham, the way he hit the line, his time figures from 3 out, his overall time figure, but his jumping data was also very good. Scored 8.1 on the race index IQ. I think his length gain was like 6.9 over the field. So he's a really good operator. I don't see him getting beat.
He's the one that will relish the good ground as well.
Absolutely
relish it. And he is price boosted with William Hill to win by over 3 lengths. It's now boosted to 7-2. So if you aren't in any concern around him winning, you maybe a distance bet in there with William Hill. Yeah,
that's the way I go. He's probably my strongest bet of the day. The ones at the short price. He's not in my column because he was just a little bit too short. I usually sort of go for like each way chances in bigger price horses at this meeting, which is usually the right strategy. He's a strong pick. The other 2 races, I think Lossy Mouth is probably the value to beat Constitution Hill. Only from a value perspective. I think it's going to be a really fascinating race. The 2.5 mile trip is still a slight unknown for Constitution Hill. I think the day when he won here, he didn't beat a great field. Lossy Mouth is obviously a serious contender, certainly better than Sharjah. And, she won the Mares Hurdle apologising. And she's unbeaten in 4 starts over 2.5 miles. So I think she is the value to beat Constitution Hill, but only the value, not necessarily a guaranteed rubber stamp. We're going to definitely beat Constitution Hill.
And then finally in the bowl, my best bet of the whole day and of the meeting is a Hoist and Yaw.
I could see, put me off. Yeah, no, I could see why. I haven't put anything up in this race. Grey Dawning sets a really good stand. He's top of the figures. His run last time out at Cal suggests he's definitely back to his best. Obviously, he did, the King George was a bit of a mess. He made a mistake at the first, and his race was run. He was definitely suffering as well from the run in the Betfair. The Betfair, I think, literally ripped the guts out of him. So they've had to go down a different route with him. Missed the Gold Cup and come here relatively fresh. I think that's a wise policy. I'd fancy him over the Irish horse, but I do think a Hoist and Yaw is very interesting. Second in the race for the last 2 years. I'm sure you've already repeated this. And he won his previous 2 other starts. He just comes alive here, doesn't he? Flat track, suits his eye. And he was still going quite well at Cheltenham when he tipped up. He wasn't a busted flush, was he, at the time? He was going along quite nicely. We've got to forget that. We can't forget that. So I can see why you've gone with him. I would personally go Grey Dawning. I haven't had a bet, but Hoist and Yaw could be the value.
Excellent. We'll then go to the 405. It is the Fox Hunters. William Hill currently have an extra place in this race. So you get 5 places with William Hill and the Fox Hunters. Toby, are you going to need that extra place? Who do you think wins it?
I'm going to need all of those places and more. But I think I've got one against the field here. I really like Gracchus de Balm.
Yeah.
You might have remembered oddschecker Grand National Trial Day at Haydock. We were all on Gracchus de Balm that day. It was his first run in the UK and finished second, a really game second, actually. Didn't put up behind my Drogo, didn't put up his best performance last time, but it was heavy ground that day at Leicester, and I'd probably forgive him that. And I think at 20-1, he seems like a horse that can jump. He'll definitely get the trip. Ground is a slight concern potentially, but for a horse that can jump and get the trip, I'd be really interested in this one.
Yeah. Andy?
Yeah, I really like the chances of an Irish runner in this race. I think the Irish have got a very strong hand. The favourite who ran well in the Fox Hunters.
Will it go ahead?
Will it go ahead? Yeah, he was brilliant. He finished a really good, strong third. This trip should suit him. The race should suit him better than Cheltenham over 3 mile 2. And I'll give a healthy regard to Lifetime Ambition, who won well last time at a place called Belclare. He was good on the eye that day. But the one I really like is Milan Fourth.
Yeah.
He's a horse that's kind of like slipped under the radar a little bit. He was sort of around about 12, 14 to 1. That's last night and this morning. He's a big, strong son of Milan. He's almost probably 17 and a half hands. He's a proper unit. Carries himself well through a race. I like the way he's progressing. He won well at Down Royal last time out. He travelled great, jumped really well. He beat a decent field. The horse who finished fourth, a horse called Ballyphilip, lowered the colours of Wing Leader. Next time out in a point-to-point. I think that was at Monk's Grange. So his collateral form's good, but I think he's absolutely tailor-made for these fences. That's what you need. You need a horse at stage 3, which he does, but he's probably more effective over 2.5 miles and good to soft ground. So if he avoids mishap, I'd expect a big run from him. So yeah, Milan Fourth, quite strong on him.
Wonderful. We'll then move on to the 440, the Red Rum handicap chase. My mate Mozzie heads the market at 5 to 1. Now, we successfully landed a few each-way multiples at the Cheltenham Festival, Andy.
We did.
I mean, I am sure that my mate Mozzie is going to be in the frame here, but I couldn't trust him to win.
That's it. I think that's it. I think a lot of people have gone with him because he's the most reliable conveyance. You know what you're going to get with my mate Mozzie. You can pretty set your clock with him. And his run at Cheltenham was indicative of his career, really.
Yeah.
Set a task out the back, had nothing to do with early speed, picked up rivals one by one, and then ran on 3 beaten horses to finish, a never near a third. You could see that happening again today. At Cheltenham, he was around about 10 to 1, which I thought was good value because you make a profit if he's hit the frame, whereas today, 5 to 1, you're only going to get your money back.
Yeah.
And I think there's other horses I'd rather be on at the prices on this occasion.
Yeah. And who would they be?
Well, the ones at Folkes Tiara.
Yeah.
Again, looking at his jumping index in his last 2 races, 8.9 and 9.1, 2 of the highest recorded jumping indexes in recent times in sort of handicap chases of this nature. You need to jump well around here.
Yeah.
One mistake and you're out. You literally cannot miss a beat. His jumping is extremely good. The run at Leopardstown last time out was excellent off the back of a win at Fairyhouse where he beat the right horses, the King of PRS, etc., etc. But more predominantly, he's trained by Henry de Bromhead. Now, Henry de Bromhead's the only trainer in Ireland who's managed to upset the UK dominance in this race. He won it with Moon from over Germany a couple of years ago and Dancing on My Own, I think it was. I think it was 2 years ago. So he's obviously got a bit of a taste for this race. He's clearly lined up the Folkes Tiara for this, having missed Cheltenham to come here fresh following that Leopardstown run over Christmas. So, yeah, I think he's a major player and he's around about 7 to 1.
Yeah, you can get an extra place with William Hill, 4 places on this race. Would you back him each way? Or
definitely, yeah. Particularly with the 4 places, yeah, it makes sense to do that.
Perfect. Toby, your thoughts?
Yeah, I will second that. I really like that horse. And it was behind that and Pentag that won at the DRF.
Yes.
Big handicap as well last time. But form's been boosted since then as well. The other 2 that I will be particularly interested in, Petit Tonnerre, brought down last time off 130, and I think probably is still quite well handicapped off that. We're still travelling that day. And another one that is definitely improving for fences, TJ Eckelberg at 20 to 1 as well. Despite the rise in the weights, will probably be competitive again at 20 to 1. And there's some extra places I'll be interested in that as well.
Yeah, I quite like Petit Tonnerre as a horse. He's really frustrating, but they put cheap pieces on when he won at Doncaster. And like you said, we're still travelling well when he was brought down last time. That wasn't his fault. He'd be another that, with the extra places available with William Hill, you could see him in the frame, but probably as vulnerable as it goes for win purposes. To conclude the card is the Grade 2 Mares Bumper, the nickel coin. We have Show Lin currently heading the market at 9 to 4. And Andy, this is nearly a flat race, isn't it? Paddy Toomey and Billy Lee coming over for the ride rather than being a bumper. There's lots of classy mares in here. I particularly like Jackie Hobbs. I think she's a horse full of potential for Harry Derham, but it's tricky for me, so I need your help.
Yeah, I think we all need a bit of help for this race. I've gone for a real outlier at a big price. Put it up in my column last night, 33 to 1. A horse called Old School Outlaw. Trained by someone you probably wouldn't know too much about. Is it Gary Colwell? I think it is, yeah. Had 2 runs in points, didn't amount to a great deal, 2nd and 3rd, but then went to Leopardstown for a decent mare's bumper, I think around the Christmas period. It wasn't at the DRF, and finished a very credible 2nd. Got outrun by one of Joseph O'Brien's that was well fancied on the day. But I loved her attitude. She was always up with the speed. It was a healthy pace as well. It's a good time figure. It's actually top on the time figures that we've got. So she's no forlorn hope on that score. But I love the fact that she got swamped by horses and then kicked again. And she's only just outrun by the O'Brien horse who came down the outside, who had nothing to do with the early pace. So she's got a bit of attitude as well as a good bit of ability. I just thought she was slightly overpriced.
Yeah, currently still available at 25-1 with William Hill at the time of recording. Toby, for you?
I like Blue Betty here. Fergal O'Brien are the winner of this. Was it last year or the year before? With that good mare. Can't remember her name.
No, that was last year. It was the year before, yeah. Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Anyway, gone.
Enos.
Enos.
There you go. Hasn't turned out to quite be the horse that we thought she might be, but I think this is a sort of horse that's going to be similar, if not, hopefully turn out to be a bit better. Won really well at Newcastle on Tapeta, albeit, so we don't know what she's going to be like on the turf. But at 10-1, I'll take my chances in each way place.
Yeah. Everyone knows my best bet of the day, Toby. What would be your best bet of the day one of Aintree Grand National Meeting?
It's a really good question. I think probably Spalland's Tower in the bowl at 3-1.
Like that. Andy, for you?
I'll split it up. I think if you ask me the question, what's the best bet? I'd say put your hands together.
Yeah.
But I'd say what the best value bet is, Milan Firth in the Fox Hunters. I think I'll be disappointed if he's not in the first four with a clear round.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us on Aintree Angles. Head over to the William Hill website in order to get all the best offers that are available there. Thank you very much. We'll be here for the next 2 days, so make sure you tune in for the next episode.